There's some things we should just keep off the internet. Subscribe, let's talk about it.
Today is the day that I get to drop my daughter off for the rest of her life. I can't really say that I feel sad about it. I really don't care. I gave up custody of my kid. I put her up for adoption. She's 7 years old. Oh, sorry. I literally just woke up. She's going to school. I'm about to drop her off to her last day of school. I have to take her to. And then the adoptees are picking her up from the school pickup line. And yeah, I'm a free woman after that. I'm selling my house. I'm buying an RV. I'm about to travel the world. I'm pretty excited. I have been waiting for this moment my entire life, ever since I had her, and I was being guilty and not giving her up just because I felt like as a mom you're not supposed to give your kid up. But then I had a good talk with my boyfriend, and he said that it doesn't matter what other people think, it's what you want, and I don't want a kid. So yeah, so she has an adoptee. It's not like I'm bringing her to a foster care system. She has a family that wants her, and yeah, she's 7 years old. She'll be fine.
Not everyone's cut out to being a parent, right? I think that's apparent here. You don't, it's not that, and let's try to have a nuanced conversation, about this terrible lady. It's not that you just can't raise a child, right? And it's not that you're not looking at it as my responsibility to sacrifice parts of my own happiness because I made a decision to have this kid and this kid is here. That is now my duty. That should transcend whether or not I feel like it or I don't feel like it. What I think people are keying on outside of the general terribleness, outside of this weird sleeping position you have where your TV is above your head where you sleep in your bed, people looking to say that you don't care. You don't care. That's the thing. That's what we're looking at, and that's what we're saying. We have trouble sort of understanding and getting our mind around this. If you don't care, then we would have hoped that you would have decided a long time ago, let me not lay down and do this thing. Let me not make a child and bring someone into this world. You said early on you knew you didn't want to do this. Why not give the child up for adoption? Why create this sort of break in this child's life at 7 years old, where now they're going to have some sort of issue in this separation, trying to explain to a 7-year-old why they no longer live with mommy. Not because mommy's incapable, but because mommy wants to live in an RV and putt around the world with her boyfriend. Listen, again, we can understand when you cannot do the job, when there is some sort of mental, physical, even a financial impediment that you just can't do it. Here, we just say, no, I just wash my hands of this. Listen, before we continue, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss no uploads. Still going strong, still trying to do 2 a day. Hype the video, share the video. We got some merch in the store. One of the things that we today, when we look at having a child, and this is just sort of evident by how frequently we have children, outside of wedlock. The 70% of the children born today are outside, at least in the Black community, are outside, of a marriage. We understand the detriments of this, but we seem to value having a child somewhere lower than finding the right partner to have a child with. One of the things that we're not talking about in this particular story, where's the dad? Where's the father? If you weren't picky with who you had the child with, we'd understand why you'd also just be kind of flippant to give the child away. I'm sure she's not the only one that has felt like this, but probably one of the few that record it. Posterity's sake, for likes or clicks, whatever. For your child to particularly find that later on in life. You can't imagine the type of harm that would come to a child like that once finding out, yeah, I didn't know my dad because he wasn't around. And my mom, who did know me, who I knew for 7 years, said she wanted to not be a mom because she never wanted to be a mom. What happens to that child? What happens? And we all hope that she's correct, that this child is going to parents that actually want her, that actually want to be parents to a young girl. We can only hope that this child turns out, flourishes, and does all well enough, all the blessings to the child. We can hope that. But when we do not look at being a parent as one of the things of the highest order, being a mom, being a father, is one of the highest vocations that you can actually have. When we make it seem like it's mundane, when we make it seem it's unimportant, we're going to have more ridiculous takes like this. Outside of any diagnoses people want to sort of throw at her, and really, you can't, outside of knowing, properly speaking to someone. We don't want to be one of the people that are throwing around narcissism just like it doesn't matter, like it's just everywhere. But until you can actually sit down and say, I want to have a child, but I want to have a child in the healthiest manner possible. That is with parents that want to be there and taking care of the child. Maybe asking for a marriage is too much of a higher order. Maybe that's an impossible thing to ask for, and we shouldn't talk about that anymore. Put that on the back burner, or put it out with the trash and throw it out. But we're still going to be having kids. There seems to be no shortage of us still having sex, still having children. Okay, at least let's start picking for character. And this is genderless. You imagine what it would be like for a man if you looked at your baby mom and saying, I never wanted to be a mom. I want to give this kid up. Easy. Let me get the kid. Let's sever ties. Let me have the child, rather than you just kind of throwing the kid away. Think of just the damage done to that child. Abandoned. Not like you were abandoned at birth and you're wondering who your parents are. No, you can find it out, and you can find out both of them didn't want to be in your life for various reasons. That type of hurt, that type of callousness that she's sort of, displaying is what a lot of us are just raising our eyebrows out and saying, this is a bad way to start the morning. Okay, you seem completely ambivalent about it. Just like, okay, this is the day I give my child up, and I'll never see my child again. I'll just go high, lofty dreams of getting an RV and traveling the world with a boyfriend who statistically probably won't be with you for much longer. I don't know what type of man is looking at this and saying, yes, this is someone I would like to be with. It doesn't matter what anyone else says. I get that notion. I get that train of thought. But when the world is saying, yeah, that's a wrong thing to do, there might be some truth to it. There might be some truth that, hey, maybe I'm not making as informed decision as I believe I am. Maybe I should be seeking therapy. Maybe I should be thinking some sort of help before I make a permanent decision and permanent scar on this young girl's life. But again, this is the modern era. This is how we move. You don't really want to have any consequences for your decisions. You want to be able to hit the reset button or just give it off and force it over to someone else. On the bright side, this is why we have foster care. This is why I have adoption. This is why it's possible, because some people are not cut out to be parents. And it is fine for us to say that. It's fine for us to admit that. We're not hurting anybody by telling people the truth. We just hope the people that don't want to be parents never have children. When they do, we hope we have some sort of system to to accommodate that, to protect that child from this nonsense. If you disagree, let me know down in the comments below. If you've got anything else to add, same thing. If you see other videos on your screen, take a look at those. Let me know your thoughts about those in those videos. And of course, if you listen to the sound of my voice now, you have not subscribed, I think you should. Trying to build something dope. I'll see you in the next one.